Is there evidence that the government is going to change its policies having to do with corn?
I think the subsidies, which is one of the most important issues out there, because what's happening is we're subsidizing corn and soy. Those two products are in 90% of the items you find in the supermarket, or approximately 90%. And I think they're responsible for food that's not good for us, and unfortunately that same food is far less expensive. So we're subsidizing food that's making us sick, and then we are then subsidizing that same food again because we're having to pay health care costs associated with it. One-third of all Americans born after the year 2000 will have early onset diabetes. That is a staggering number. And we're not even talking about heart attacks and hypertension, and there's so many, or cancers, so many things that I think this food system helps create that are very expensive. So we're getting very inexpensive food, but it's very expensive, and it's not sustainable. And that was something that, as many times as I heard it, doesn't really, you don't quite understand it. It takes a long time, but it's all based on oil, and if you don't believe in, if you believe in peak oil, it's going to run out at some point, or it's going to become certainly more expensive. So this cheap food's going to become a lot more expensive. It's polluting water systems. It's destroying the earth. It's abusing the people who are growing it, and ultimately, we as consumers are eating 300 more calories per day than we did 20 years ago, and it's making us sick. So I don't think this very new system of food production can continue like it is. We're going to have to find some changes in the same way that we had a financial crisis where we had these bundling these mortgages. It was a Ponzi scheme. I think this food system is a bit of a Ponzi scheme. So there are many good things about it, but I don't think it can continue in the same way. And we have to start to become conscious and look at it. And I think things will start to change, and feeling those changes going on.
Well, given the audience response so far, there's a good deal of evidence that you're reaching people, and that is an exciting thing. And even your peers, obviously, with the Oscar shortlist and so forth, you're in good shape.
Yeah.
And I think that will, an Oscar nomination would go a long way toward making this even more of a must-see event.
I think it would be really helpful, and as the Secretary of Agriculture Vilsack said, if there's a movement, we will follow. So,
well, it worked for Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah.
To a great degree. I mean, it's one of the great inspirational stories, and I hope this works too. It worked for Super Size Me to be at Sundance and have a big impact.
I had no idea what kind of reaction this film would get. On one hand, it's hard to go see how our food is made, and I wasn't sure if people, if there was interest, and I was surprised how much this played into this growing movement, and people are truly interested. Some people might be concerned that this will stop them from being able to eat again. I don't think that, as I say, I didn't want to make a film that made people close their eyes, and I enjoy eating. I have a friend who said, I might be the only one, but I came away from the movie hungry. But it's
my beef eating days are probably over at this point.
Well, I'll eat beef, but I'll want to eat beef that's not from a feedlot. I want to eat food that's not industrially prepared. It just doesn't taste as good. Not only is the beef not taste as good, not only is the chicken not taste as good, but the tomato and the strawberries don't taste as good. And you want food that's been grown, in a way that's good for the earth and good for us and good for the people who make it. And so hopefully Food Inc. can help sort of push people in that direction. But I think it's it even goes beyond food. It's about that at this point that we have corporations that are looking out for their own bottom line interests, and they're being run by people who might be good people, but the corporation itself takes on its own life. And I think, in a way, that became part of what Food Inc. was about.
Absolutely.
About corporations that have become too big to fail. And we're beginning to see that maybe that's not a good thing.
Is there evidence that the Obama administration, I mean, one has hopes that a Democratic liberal presidency would have some impact on something like this? Do you think that there's reason for optimism there, or is it just going to take too long?
No, things have started to change. But the one thing I want to say that has been really interesting to me is this is an issue that cuts across party lines. Republicans don't want to eat meat with E. coli in it either. On one hand, I think Democrats like to help corporations as much as Republicans. So on some levels, these are issues that cut across parties all the way. And hopefully we can try to break down some of that we can get everybody to start to see there's a problem here and it needs to be changed. And it goes beyond food.
Thank you.
Thanks.